Dear student, how are you? I am also fine. Thank you very much. Sit down. Dear student, today I want to discuss about the English second paper, part of grammar, voice sense. Dear student, you all know that English grammar is very important to learn English language. Particularly, it is very important to learn English language. Especially, it is a great important for writing skill. Dear student, you may do wrong in speaking skill, but there is no any option to do wrong in writing skill. Dear student, today I am going to discuss about the voice sense. Class 6, subject English second paper. Dear student, before discussing about the subject on voice sense, I want to say something about the national anthem. Dear student, national anthem is very important for every learner and teacher. We should participate in national anthem regularly. National anthem includes our national interest. Dear student, that's why we should participate in national anthem every day. Have you understood? Dear student, now I am to discuss about the present situation. Dear student, you all know that present situation is very dangerous to us. Not only us, but also all over the world's people. Have you understood? Dear student, you all know that COVID-19 is increasing day by day drastically. Second step is going on at present all over the world. Dear student, that's why we have to use masks. Dear student, there is no substitute of using masks. Mask wearing is very important for every citizen. So, we should use we must use marks. Have you understood, dear student? And we have to wash our hands with soap. Have you understood? Dear student, wash our hands with soap again and again. Dear student, we have to maintain safe distance so we can prevent us from the COVID-19. Dear student, now I have to discuss about the drug addiction. Dear student, drug addiction is a curse for our generation, for our young generation. Dear student, drug can damage our lungs. Drug can damage our energetic powers. Dear student, drug addicted person can do anything. There is no good idea or bad idea to do anything. They can do anything, anywhere. So we have to give up drug addiction. Dear student, now I want to discuss about the voice. For class 6 students, for class 6 learners, dear student, voice, at first you have to know what is voice. Dear student, what is voice? Voice in grammar, form of a verb, indicating the relation between the participants in a narrated event, subject, object, and the event itself. Dear student, have you understood? Dear student, you have to try to understand my speech. If you don't try to understand my speech, you can learn at all. You cannot understand clearly. Have you understood? Dear student, what is voice? What is voice? Voice in grammar, form of a verb, indicating the relation between the participants in a narrated event, subject, object, and the event itself. Dear student, have you understood? Dear student, we can say easily, what is voice? Voice is formation of a verb. Voice is formation of a verb by which subject does something itself or others action falls upon it. Have you understood? Dear student, what is voice? I am repeating about the definition of voice. Voice is formation of a verb by which subject does something itself or others' action falls upon it. Have you understood? Dear student, now I want to discuss about the classification of voice. What is the classification of voice? Dear student, voice is two kinds. What types of voice? What kinds of voice? Voice is two kinds. Number one, active voice. Number two, passive voice. Dear students, active voice and passive voice. Dear student, now I want to discuss about what is active voice and what is passive voice. Have you understood? Dear student, at first I am going to discuss about the active voice. Definition of active voice. What is definition of active voice? Active voice an active voice expresses an action performed by the subject. Dear student, what is active voice? Active voice, an active voice expresses an action performed by the subject. Have you understood? Dear student, I am repeating the repetition of active voice. An active voice expresses an action performed by the subject. Have you understood? Dear student, you have to know what is active voice and what is passive voice. Active voice, an active voice then an active voice expresses an action performed by the subject. Dear student, look at the blackboard. Look at the blackboard. What is active voice? An active voice expresses an action performed by the subject. Have you understood? Dear student, passive voice a passive voice expresses expresses an action performed upon the subject, upon the subject. Dear students, active voice by the subject, passive voice upon the subject. Active voice and active voice expresses an action performed by the subject. By the subject. Dear students, and passive voice, a passive voice expresses an action performed upon the subject. Upon the subject. Have you understood? Dear student, such as an example of active voice. He eats rice. Have you understood? An example of passive voice. Rice eaten by him. Have you understood? Dear student, we could know about the definition of voice, about the definition of active voice, about the definition of passive voice, about the classification of voice. Have you understood? Dear student, actually voice is very important item in English grammar. Dear student, we want to write any sentence correctly and accurately. We have to learn voice. Whereas voice is a part of English grammar. Voice is a part of English grammar. So, without voice, a learner cannot write any sentence correctly. Have you understood? Dear student, so we should know about the voice. About the voice. Have you understood? Dear student, now I want to discuss about the identifying the subject, object and verb. Dear student, identification of the subject, object and verb. Dear student, identification of the subject, object and verb. Dear student, if you want to turn from active into passive, then you have to know, you have to identify the subject, verb and object. If you don't identify the subject, verb, object, you cannot change any sentence into passive or active. Have you understood? So, at first you have to know, at first you have to identify the subject, verb and object. Have you understood? What is subject? Dear student, subject. How to identify the subject? Subject, dear student, you have to remember that subject remains at the beginning of the sentence. Have you understood? Subject remains at the beginning of the sentence. Have you understood? Such as Karim plays ball in the field. Dear student, Karim plays ball in the field. It is active. It is active. We have to find out the subject, verb and object. What is subject? Here Karim is subject. Whereas Karim remains at the beginning of this sentence. Have you understood? Dear student, I have said that subject remains at the beginning of the sentence. So, Karim remains at the beginning of the sentence. So, Karim is subject. Have you understood? Dear student, place verb. Place verb. Dear student, verb remains after subject. It is easy to find out the subject. Dear student, verb remains after subject. Whereas here place is verb. Place remains after subject. So, place is verb. Have you understood? Dear student, object. Dear student, object, ball. Object remains after the main verb. Have you understood? Dear student, object remains after the main verb. Here, place is main verb here, and ball remains after main verb place. So, ball is object here. Have you understood? Dear student, ball, object. Dear student, in the field, extension. Dear student, we want to sense active into passive or passive into active. At first we have to know, at first we have to identify the subject, verb and object. We can identify the subject or object, we can sense active into passive or passive into active. Have you understood? Dear student, Karim plays ball in the field. If we sense into passive, object, ball is played in the field. in the field by Karim. Have you understood? Dear student, actually now I have to discuss about how to change, how to turn from active into passive. Dear student, there are some rules of turning the active into passive. In the tense, I want to give an example. So, look at the blackboard. Dear student, in all tenses, in all tenses is applicable table. Dear student, look at the blackboard. Dear student, it is an structure. It is a structure. Look at the blackboard. Object, subject, plus auxiliary verb, plus aim verb 3, plus by, plus subject object. Dear student, if you want to turn into passive from active, at first you have to take, at first you have to do, at first you have to turn object into subject. Then you have to take auxiliary verb according to tense. Then you have to main verb, past participle form. Then you have to take by. After all, you have to turn subject into object. Have you understood? Dear student, look at the blackboard. I want to give an example. They drink milk. Dear student, at first you have to identify the subject, verb and object. They, here subject, drink, main verb, milk, here object. Have you understood? So, at first you have to turn object into subject. Object mean. You have to take auxiliary verb according to tense. Whereas is they drink milk, it is present indefinite tense. So you have to take am is as auxiliary verb. Milk is. Then main verb 3. You have to take main verb 3. Drink, drank. Then you have to take by. Then you have to turn subject into object. They, object them. Dear student, milk is drunk by them. It is passive. They drink milk. It is an active. Have you understood? Dear student, you have to remember that active, if the active is present continuous tense, You have to take being between auxiliary verb and main verb. Have you understood? Dear student, if the active is present continuous tense or past continuous tense or future continuous tense, you have to take being, B-E-I-N-G, being between auxiliary verb and main verb 3. Have you understood? Dear student, if the active is present perfect, past perfect, future perfect, you have to take being. You have to take being between auxiliary verb and main verb 3. Have you understood? Such as I am writing a letter. Dear student, it is present continuous tense. So, a letter is being written by me. Dear student, I am writing a letter. It is present continuous tense. So, a letter is being. Being is existing. Being is existing between auxiliary verb is and main verb written. Have you understood? Dear student, similarly, if the active voice is present perfect tense, past perfect tense and future perfect tense, then you have to take be between auxiliary verb and main verb. Such as he has done it. Dear student, it has done it. It is present perfect tense. It passive. It has been done by him. Dear student, whereas he has done it, it is present perfect tense. So, we have to take been between auxiliary verb has and main verb done. Have you understood? Dear student, now I am finishing here. Thanks all. See you again. Thank you very much.
না আমার ঠিক আছে আমি রাখতে